Hey guys, how are you? Well, welcome to day number 14 of 21 Days of Prayer for Your Business. 2 weeks! It is officially 2 weeks into our 3-week journey together, and here you are. I mean, I knew you'd make it through week 1. Week 2, I was like, I'm just kidding. I totally knew that you would make it through to week 2 and you are going to completely make it through to week 3. Am I right? Or am I right? All right, guys. Well, we are today talking about a very, very important topic. And I know you may be wondering, like, why in the world are we mixing day 14, Fight for Your Family, into 21 days of prayer for your business? But stick with me here. You're going to find out why, all right? Well, you know the drill. You know the routine. If you've been here 2 weeks, you know what I'm about to say. You're almost going to be able to quote me. We got to go through a little bit of housekeeping. And very first thing first, we are going to be talking about this book today, 21 Days of Prayer for Your Business. It is completely fine if you don't have it. Don't worry. You can go through every single one of these videos and watch it without the book. However, if you want the book, you can get it at shop.infuse.com. So that we went through this last year with my social media friends, the 21 Days of Prayer, and every day we get up and I do a blog post and I write about a topic and then do a video. And throughout the course of last year, after my friends on social media had walked through it, we decided to write this book. And so it is a book/workbook, and it's got spaces for you to write your answers because I get all up in your business. I'm extremely nosy. I love to know all about your life, and so I ask you some questions. And I make you dig a little deep. And so if you have the book, I hope you're writing in it. This is a book to write in. And if you don't have the book, please go grab a notebook and go grab a pen, because there's going to be times where really and truly I think a lot of this process is applying it. You know, so many times we hear things and we read things and we just let it go in one ear and out the other. Or we flip the page and forget what it said, and we really don't relate it to our lives. So I hope that these questions are really making you dig deep and applying these principles and these concepts and these thoughts to your life. So if you are catching this video, maybe somebody shared this link with you and you see that it's day 14. Well, that means there are other days that you can watch, days 1 through 13. And we hope that you go back and you watch all of those. They really do build upon each other. And it's okay if you miss a day here or there. If you get started and you're like, I'm going to do this 21 days of prayer for my business, and lo and behold, on day 5, you are like, something pops up and day 5 doesn't happen, and you're like, I'm such a loser. I knew I couldn't do this, and you quit. Well, that is not how we want you to walk out this journey. If you miss a day, that's okay. Pick back up the next day and start, and just start with that day where you left off, okay? So we want you to keep on keeping on. So I'm going to give you a little Cliff Note version very, very quickly of what we've discussed. On day 1, we have talked about the importance of giving God control. You need to give God control. It works out so much better when we give God control. Day number 2, we have talked about finding freedom from our past. Hello, do you have a past? Can we talk? It can really be a little rough, and it many times, almost all of the time, unless you found freedom from it, it keeps you from moving in the direction really that you're supposed to be moving into that abundant life that Christ Jesus has set out for you. So we talk about freedom on day 2. Day 3, we talk about all the ways you are so awesome and cool and uniquely you. You are. There is something special about you, whether you believe it or not. You have been gifted with specific gifts and talents for such a time as this. And we go there that day. We talk about that on day 3. Day 4, it is about time to get a vision. Oh yeah. We don't just know now how we are uniquely made. Let's get a vision. Let's get a game plan. Let's get on a path, okay? And many times you may not see the end picture. I think we get vision confused sometimes of we've got to have this grandiose, like amazing, here we are. No, you don't have to actually see this end picture of where you're going. Just need to see one step in front of the other. And how do you do that? It's letting the Lord be a lamp unto your feet and a light into your path. And that's going to his word, and that's acknowledging him like you started doing on day one. So after we've got a vision, it's time to be intentional. We went there on day 5. It's all about being intentional. How can you embrace your values, those things that are your non-negotiables, into your life, into your business? Because I would dare to say you start feeling a little off balance in life when those things that are very important to you are not making it into your everyday and into your business. You just kind of feel like something's off. And that would be day number 5. Day number 6, we talk about always growing. Hey, you need to be growing. I mean, we don't just arrive. We're not just like, okay, we're here. Okay, I graduated from high school. Okay, I got my degree. Okay, I got this promotion. No, we always need to be growing. The day you quit growing is the day you are stuck right there where you're at. Hey, get in, enjoy the view, because that's where you're going to be seeing from here until kingdom come. We need to be growing, okay? That is day number 6. Day number 7 was so vital for your success because it's don't give up. If you give up, you have no clue what could have been right around the corner. That was what we talked about on day 7. Day 8, we talked about living a life of worship. Did you know that when you embrace your unique design, those gifts and talents that you've been given, and you use it to the benefit of others, I really do believe that's living a life of worship. You can live a life of worship through your material things, like your money, your home, your time. All of those things you can use in worship to God. I get a lot of messages during the series, and one of the ones that I hear a lot is, Monique, I really am afraid that there's no way that I can pray for success in my business because I feel as if I can't get over this money barrier. Like, this having all this money, or if it brings money, like, I don't know if that's right. Or, hey, whenever you are blessed to be a blessing to others. All of the success and all of the financial gain that we found in our personal lives over the last 4 years, we really have been able to embrace it. And you have to guard yourself. Hear me out. I'm not saying be guarded. That's a healthy fear. But don't let it rob you of the blessings that come from it. Okay. So day number 8, don't get caught up in that mindset. Day number 9, it's living a life of excellence, okay? And there's a very, very fine line between living a life with excellence and being weighed down with perfectionism. And that's what we discussed on day 10. Day number 11, I believe, was creative problem solving. Yes, it was. Always get hung up there. Creative problem solving. And one of the best things that you can do for your business and just really any area of your life is when you see an obstacle, don't go stand in a corner and cry, get in a fetal position and rock back and forth. No, this is a fantastic time. This is a great way to go, okay, let's figure out a solution to this problem. And that was on day number 11. Day number 12 was building a community. Community is so important. We are better together. It is very amazing to be able to work within a group. You've got weaknesses and other people have strengths, and many times you combine those two and you're helping one another out. Community is important. That is day number 12. Yesterday, day number 13. Oh my goodness. Surviving conflict. Yeah, very good topic, and I think we've all faced it, and if you haven't, you're probably going to. Let me get a drink of this peppermint tea. Are you okay with that? Thank you. I appreciate it. So that was yesterday. Surviving conflict. Oh geez, it's a hard one, but we begin to open our eyes and look at people in a different way. We begin to see their backstory. Well, where did this come from? And we also understood yesterday that we can't conceal things. Like yucky things grow in the dark. So it's good to bring it to light. Okay, so that was yesterday. Go back and watch those. Honestly, if you missed a day, catch up. Go back and watch it. They really, really, really do build upon each other, which leads us to today, Fight for Your Family. And like I said when we first began our time together this morning, why are we talking about that? Why are we talking about fighting for our family in the midst of 21 days of prayer for our business? Well, I don't know about you. I can only base this off of me and my life. You know, every single one of these chapters that I wrote are every single one of them are things that I've really dealt with in my own life and currently still to this day am dealing with. Like, I'm going through this study with you guys. I couldn't wait to get finished with the book because I was like, I need to read this book. You know, this is a constant growing process. And fighting for your family is very important because I believe whatever career you're in, whatever business that you go to every single day, if you've got issues and you've got kind of turmoil and you have got this stress factor inside your business, how easy is it for you to bring that over into your family life? No. Is it just me? I mean, it's a little bit easier to snap and raise your voice to your husband or to your spouse or to your wife or to your children. I mean, anybody else, you know, you bring stress in and then all of a sudden it just spills over into your family life and vice versa. If your family life is chaotic and there's turmoil in your family life, how easy is it for you to bring that over and that spills over into your business, into your career? You know, it just feels like, oh gosh, it's this weight, you know, and maybe it's just me, but I believe we need to analyze both of those situations. When I was working as a nurse, you know, and that's a noble profession, and there's a lot of people out there that were born to be a nurse. I wasn't. I was not content. I was very stressed out. I was very insecure. I really didn't feel like I was thriving. It's not who I was made to be. And then throw in the factor that it's starting to get really chaotic and very stressful, and I was miserable. And you guys, I brought that over into my family life. I just did. I wasn't a happy individual. I did not like what I did. I could not sleep at night. I mean, hello, you want me to be honest and be real with you? I would come home when I would work the 3 to 11 shift. I would come home at 11 o'clock at night and I couldn't switch my brain off. Could not for the life of me switch my brain off. I started taking Ambien just to sleep because I could not go to sleep. And nothing, you know, if you take Ambien, I'm not judging you, but I'm saying it became this issue with me that I just couldn't wait until I got home to take that, just to completely shut down. Like, just shut down, turn it off. I don't want to have to think about anything. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, it was not a good place. There was a few years there to where I was so miserable. I was just so miserable in my work. I really did bring it into my family dynamic. And so we've got to analyze that. Now, let's flip it and understand this dynamic from the family side, stress with that spilling over into our businesses. And how do we fix that? I mean, what do we do? Well, the very first thing that I believe we need to understand is that we need to give ourselves a little bit of grace, okay? So before we dive in and we think we're going to step on a bunch of toes and we're going to, you know, do some hand slapping today, absolutely not. That's not the case. I start off in the book right here and I say on page 102, I say, I need to let you in on a little secret, okay? Do you like secrets? I love secrets. So I'm going to let you in on one. I love to work a lot. I do. I absolutely love working. I'm going to say, well, at least the kind of work that's embracing who I was made to be. So while I did not enjoy that work as a nurse, whenever I get into where it's my thing, like back in the saddle when I started this current business that I'm in, I'm like, oh yeah, game on. This is awesome. I love this. And I could work 24/7, you guys. It's how I'm wired. It's who I am. I'm extremely, extremely driven. I'm a very competitive individual. I love setting goals. I love working towards goals. With you guys, I could talk about work 24/7. I do talk about work probably 24/7. I'm really not a TV watcher. If I'm going to read a book, it's usually business work related. I just really don't read much fiction. No worries if you do. I'm telling you how I'm wired. I'm airing a little bit of my secrets, okay? But I love to work. I talk about you 24/7. I have really, during this 21 days, tried making it this habit of really not getting on and looking at my phone. I'm in this habit of right when I wake up, boom, phone in my hand, checking messages, checking this, checking that. And I've really tried getting into this system of, okay, I'm going to quiet that for a little bit, and I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to read, and I'm going to study. And this morning I told my husband, I said, before I did this video, I said I made the mistake this morning that I usually just let my mind sit and think about what we're going to discuss, and I think about our topic for the day, and I think about that. But for a brief moment this morning, I let my mind go to business, to something, a project that we're working on, and I could not get my mind off of it for the life of me. Throughout the day, if I walk on the beach, I'm probably going to be talking to my husband about business. If we are driving to the gas station, I'm more than likely going to be talking about business. Business pretty much just consumes my thoughts all the time. I love it. With that, though, comes the fact that I have a lot of guilt of, maybe, Monique, you're neglecting your family. Hey, especially, do you work from home? Because I work from home. And so it's different when you go and you clock in, clock out, and then maybe you come home and you can try to leave your work there. But when you work from home, it's kind of all consuming. The emails kind of are always there, or the messages are always there, or the thoughts are always there. The issue, do you know what I'm saying? And so it's a very big thing that I believe everybody deals with, but especially those who work from home. So we've all got them. We've all got families. So how can we be intentional, and how can we fight for our families through this process? And because fighting for your families are one of the most important things. So while I love to work with everything inside of me, and I'm very driven, I cannot let my family get kicked to the curb in the process. Today is my daughter Elena's 13th birthday when I'm actually filming this today. And 14th birthday. I'm so sorry. It helps to know how old your kid is. She was 13. She is now 14. And it's her 14th birthday. And one of the things that she said to me, Mom, whenever you get finished with the 21 days of prayer video, no work the rest of the day. That's my birthday present. No work the rest of the day. And I'm like, you've got it, sister. No work the rest of the day. Family is very, very, very vital. So if you are a driven individual, let's talk today about some ways that we can continue to embrace our families and fight for that strong dynamic. But before we go into that, I want to talk about giving yourself a little bit of grace and mercy. And I want to talk about comparison, because do you know we need to embrace the same concepts that we've discussed about our business, about perfectionism, and also comparison, and bring that dynamic into our family, okay? Because it's the same thing. Comparison steals your joy when you're comparing your business to somebody else's business, but it equally steals your joy, if not more, when you are comparing your family dynamic to somebody else's family dynamic. When you are trying to be that perfect family, you're going to fail every time, because you're not perfect, and your husband or your wife or your children are not perfect. which equates to an imperfect family. You know, I laugh. I get the most, you know, we love Disney. I've told you that before. We love us some Disney. And we go to Disney frequently, and I always get a good giggle when I'm walking. It's horrible for me to even think this is funny, but we'll be walking down Main Street or whatever, or we're standing in a line, and you see a family that they've literally snapped. They've lost it. I mean, the mother is like giving the stank eye to the child. Like, I'm telling you right this second, you better stop it right now. I mean, you hear them kind of raising their voice, and I kind of giggle to myself because I think, you know, probably about 5 seconds ago, they snapped that awesome family picture in front of the castle. Like, we're at the most magical place on earth. And then they load it up to social media, and you and I are back home going, oh man, that is the perfect family. Look at them. I mean, they're always so happy, and they're at the most magical place on earth, and they've got it all going together. But like, little do we know, right? That 10 seconds after that is snapped, you know, kids are like pulling each other's hair. It's real life, people, right? I mean, anybody else, you look at people's Instagram feeds and you're just like, oh geez, they've got it all together. They have got it all together, and I am a complete loser in life. I mean, just me. Please tell me it's got to be somebody else out there. So the very first thing that I need you to understand is that just as if we cannot compare businesses, please don't compare your family. Now, if you are one of the ones out there watching this that go, oh, but Monique, no, you don't understand. So my family, we are perfect. Like, we're perfect. I just, you've not met us, and you need to have the pleasure of meeting us because we do have it all together. Oh, can I just tell you, you need to watch out and be very careful because, you know, the verse that we talked about, pride goes before a fall. It is true. And let me tell you how I walked out this exact thing in my own life. And it has to do with potty training. Okay, people. I have two girls. I have Alyssa, who is 15, and now Elena, who is 14. They're about 19, 20 months apart. And so Alyssa, our firstborn, is now, I'm about to give birth to Elena. And she is like chomping at the bit, I can tell, to use the big girl potty. Okay? This was back in the day, obviously. They're now older. She couldn't wait to use the big girl potty. And I'm thinking, wow, okay, this is time, you know, I've read all the books. This is the time. Hey, everybody says, you know, this is the age great for potty training. She's doing really good with it. Every once in a while, I'll let her use the big girl potty. However, I read a book somewhere that said, you know, if you are pregnant or you're about to have a baby, sometimes they'll regress. And so maybe wait to start the process after the new child is born. You know, honestly, how could we live without all of these many books out there that tell us how to raise our children? I mean, because there's like 15 million different ways, okay? And they all conflict with one another. But the particular one that I read at the time said that you might need to hold off, Monique, because you're about to give birth, and your child here is going to like not want to pee anymore. And so I held off. Well, I give birth to Elena, and here we have Alyssa now that's like, I'm ready. I want to go to the big girl potty. So potty training with her was a piece of cake. Like, I am talking, she potty trained from like day one. No issues. I think she had like 2 accidents. And I am thinking right here, this girl has got it going on in the potty training department. I mean, I need to go write a bestseller on peeing in the potty because I am like golden mom here. Everybody, I need to hold conferences, conventions. Let me tell you, potty training conference right here because I know how to do it. You know, I'm perfect. And so about the time that Elena gets around to that age, I was in nursing school, okay? I will never forget it. We were in microbiology lab, and I'm sitting there at the high tables as we're waiting on something to grow in a petri dish. cannot stand microbiology. Anyway, and so we're sitting there, and these other moms in the class, these young moms of potty training age children, are going on and on about how hard it is. I mean, it is so difficult. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm so glad you get to meet me, and I'm so glad we are destined to be in school together, because I just so happen to know it all about potty training. I mean, I do. And so let me tell you, this is what you need to do. I mean, it's very simple. If you follow my steps, you are going to be successful at potty training. And these moms are probably like, I really can't stand you. But that's what happened. And then Elena came to the table. I love her so much. And she was the exact opposite from my little Alyssa. I think it was her goal in life to wear a diaper. I really did think, until she got married. I'm thinking, is she gonna be wearing a diaper at her graduation? Because the girl would not go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, look, this is, wait, like, I'm really good at this, and this is exactly what I did with your sister. And why are you not going to the potty? Wouldn't do it. Like, she was like, it's too much work. I've got to go all the way back there to the bathroom to potty? Heck no. I'll do it in my pants. Because you clean it up. That sounds like a good plan to me. I'm in the middle of playing, Mom. Why take a break from playing when I can do my deed right here? So, anyway, pride goes before a fall, and the Lord has a great sense of humor to oftentimes show you don't have it all going on. So, perfectionism, guys, comparison. We need to give ourselves just a tad bit of grace. You know, same situation later in life goes down with Alyssa. You know, homeschooling my girls, and oh geez, we are very relaxed in our homeschooling philosophy and the way that we do things. And Alyssa, I'll never forget when she was really little. She was the one that I couldn't wait to potty. She was not so fond, though, of reading. Like, reading, seriously, why? Why do I need to read? I don't want to read. Reading, hello? There's other things I could be doing. Why read? And so my mom, this is when she was really young, my mom's getting a little nervous. My mom's like, Monique, so she's not reading a lot, and most kids her age are reading a little bit more by now, and I don't know, I don't know about this whole homeschooling thing. And I'm like, Mom, it's okay. Like, just don't stress. Let's just not stress about it right now. Surely she's going to read one of these days. Like, okay, like one day it's going to snap. And so what we did is we began to realize that she just wasn't interested in the books that we were getting her. You know, like we were trying to get her all the little cutesy kid books. Like we were trying, you know, all the little funny stories that makes you laugh and all of that. Well, one day we realized she was just so interested in history. Like she was very, very, very interested in this dynamic of presidential stuff and politics. Like it was really odd. But I mean, I'm talking young. Like young. And so I just went to a bookstore, a second-hand bookstore, and I just bought tons and tons of presidential books. It's what she was interested. She was interested in presidents. And I started just leaving those laying all around the house. Just put them all out around the house. Do you know, I would walk in and she would be flipping through a book. Whenever we just stopped, relaxed, and we allowed her to do it the way she wanted, the things that she was interested in, she started picking it up. So why am I going there? Why am I saying all of this? Well, first off, I just want you to get this understanding that there is a big stigma of there is a perfect family out there, and it does not exist, okay? So we need to all breathe in and let out a deep sigh of relief because you and I are really setting ourselves up for failure when we think there is this right here and we need to be there. Okay, so the very first thing, we follow the processes of perfectionism and also comparison. But the next thing that I want you to do is I really want you throughout the day to day, one of your main homeworks is going to be thinking back to every one of our videos, every one of our chapters that we've discussed, and I want you to apply it to your family. I want you to have a strong and thriving family. I want you to fight for your family with the same tenacity that you are fighting for a strong, successful business. I want you to fight for a strong family. Business, family, faith, all of those things are so important to me. Not necessarily in that order, but it's so important. And if we want something to be successful, just like your business, if you want to be successful in business, you've got to work for it. You have got to do things to move in the right direction for a successful business. If you want to have a strong family, you are going to have to work for it. You can't just sit back and have a successful business and sit on the couch and twiddle your thumbs and one day, voila, there is your successful business. The same is true with your family. We have got to look at that and understand that we don't just sit on the couch, we don't just snap our fingers and one day we wake up and we have got a really thriving, successful family. No, we need to fight for it with the same tenacity. So I want you to go through these books. And what does that look like? I'm glad you asked. Let's go through the chapters. Chapter 1 was give God control. Lord, I give you control of my family. I'm learning this right now in my own life. It's very hard with a daughter that is 15 years old and that is able to drive, is able to drive now with us in the car. And she's got friends now who are of the age to drive. Like letting her have control of the wheel and letting her get in the car with others. You know, there's this control thing in a mama that freaks out a little bit. Like about 2 weeks ago, I had a major panic attack. I got a hair on my lip. I had a major panic attack when I could not get a hold of Alyssa, and I knew she was in the car with somebody, and it is unlike my child not to answer her phone. She was a compulsive rule follower, and she would not answer her phone. And my mind was thinking the worst. I could not breathe, panic attack. Lord, I give you control. Lord, I give you control of my kids. Lord, I give you control. Have your way in my marriage. Lord, have your way in my family. Lord, have your way with my children. Not my way, but your way, Lord. Have your way. Give and control. The very next thing, freedom from your past. Lord, I have failed time and time again as a mom, as a father. Lord, I mean, it's in the past, and I will walk in freedom. I'm not going to let my past dictate my future with my family. It's not going to happen. Do you understand the same concept of how your past, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy your future success in your business? Do you understand how he comes to steal, kill, and destroy your future relationships with your family because of something that happened in the past? Not going to happen. It's not going to happen because we are going to fight for our family. We are going to have thriving relationships. So apply that same concept. What are those things that you need to forgive someone of, or you need to forgive yourself of from your past? Uniquely made, day number 3. How am I uniquely made? How are my children uniquely made? How is my spouse uniquely made? What is the family dynamic there? What are the ways that all of our personalities work together? Because we are unique. I said it yesterday, Alyssa, Mom, it's time to get in the shower. Mom, you forgot to answer that message. Mom, we should have left 10 minutes ago. Mom, well, she is a DC personality, and that is a dominant leader. that is someone who likes structure and processes, and therefore that's how she thrives. She's not being bossy. She doesn't think I'm dumb. She just is a leader. And Jeremiah, when he is telling me, Monique, yesterday in your video, the very first part of it, it's just like you were using it's like your very fake voice. I hate it when you use that voice. Okay, thanks a lot. I love you. Well, he wasn't saying you're a loser. He's saying, I want this to be better. Like, let's critique this. Let's make it, and here's some things that you can work on. I mean, he's cutthroat, man. And so it doesn't mean, so how does your family work together? Look at those unique gifts and talents. How do they go together? Then the next thing, vision. You don't just have to have a vision for your business. You can have a vision for your family. Well, what do I want us to accomplish? What do I want to see my children thriving in? Lord, give me a vision. Direct our steps, Lord. I may not see the end picture down here, but Lord, every single day, direct our steps, that we go and we move in the right direction, Lord. May we be on that path, seeking after you, but my children on the same path, my husband on that right path, taking one step in front of the other. Day number 5, being intentional. How can we be intentional with our family? How can we make intentional family time? One of the things that we do, and I say it at the end in the walkout points, is we have started a group text message. And it is called We Are Family. And we talk in it. And this morning, when we are away from each other, it is our communication. We communicate with one another all the time, even when we're not apart. This morning, I was a little distracted because Alyssa is at a prayer retreat, at a weekend. It's a prayer and fasting retreat with several, probably 100 other kids. And she's at that conference, and there's tornadoes coming through the area. And she's messaging us, and I'm sitting here going, Lord, watch over her, protect her. She's messaging us. She's keeping in touch. Elena is sending her an encouraging word. Jeremiah is sending her screenshots of what the weather radar looks like. I'm telling her, baby, you're going to be okay. And so we've got this group message, and that's where we discuss, we talk. We're intentional. We're intentional. We're not perfect, but we try. What did we say on that day about perfectionism? It's using what we currently have. It's being excellent with what we currently have on hand. Okay, so be intentional. Growing. We're always growing. One of the things I asked my girls, we started it at the beginning of this year. Girls, talk to me. With your school, what are things that you just don't feel like you're right up to par on? Like, what are some things that you really want to focus on and work on? What are some things that you're a little insecure with, that if we can kind of get you up to the right, level on that you're going to be like, okay, this is good. So like, where do you need to be growing? What are the things that you love? What are the things that are you're passionate about? How can you grow in that area? Alyssa said this year, Mom, I want to do photography. I'm loving photography. I'm wanting to be more involved with it. So you know what we did? That was her Christmas gifts. I mean, we were intentional even with the Christmas gifts that we bought her to be something that embraced her passions, her gifts, her talents. We let her take some classes. We are letting her get involved with stuff at Highlands. Well, baby, how can you get more involved with that creative department there at church? So she's embracing those things. How can you grow? So look at your children, look at your life, look at your spouse's life. What are the things that you love? How can you grow in those areas? A thriving family talks about these types of things. Okay, how can you grow? We all need to be growing. We need to be growing as a family unit. What can we do as a family to be intentional to grow our relationships with one another? So that was day number 6. Day number 7 was don't give up. So don't give up. Don't give up on your family. Don't give up on your family. It's the day you give up is the day you give up. You mess up, we'll get back up. You raise your voice at your child, we'll start over. I mean, our families have a lot more grace, at least mine do, have a lot more grace and mercy than a lot of my friends in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just are like, you lose it, and then You're like, I'm so sorry. And they're like, it's okay, Mom. I love you. I mean, man, you get back up. Don't give up. Day number 8, live a life of worship. Really, how as a family, even walking out and fighting for your family, I believe is living a life of worship. You are worshiping the Lord with what He has given you. That is what He has given you to walk out this journey of life with for such a time as this. Are those individuals. Fight for it. Fight for it. Day number 9, excellence. Don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in the perfectionism, but you can walk a life of excellence. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself. I can't tell you how many times I want to let day number 10 weigh down on me of perfectionism, how other people are doing it, what other kids are doing, what this, this is what it is. And I've said it so many times, me and Jeremiah always say, well, we are doing all that we know how to do. We're doing all that the Lord has put upon our heart. And we just pray. We tell people all the time when people go, well, how is that homeschooling working out for you? I mean, are you ever worried? Sat on the plane with the guy the other day and he was like, my daughter made a perfect score on her SAT. And I said, well, that's fantastic. And he said, well, first off, it started off the conversation, where do your kids go to school? And I said, well, my kids are homeschooled. Well, my kids go so-and-so. Well, are your kids going to take the ACT? My daughter made a perfect score on her ACT. And I said, well, that is fantastic. That's great. Well, where are your kids wanting to go to college? Well, wherever they want to go. Alyssa wants to go to Highlands College, and it's a ministry school, and I'm all about that if that's what she wants. Oh, well, my daughter was going to go to an Ivy school. Well, that's fantastic. You know what? Because I'm walking out excellence with what is put before me and what the Lord has laid upon my heart. And I'm not going to get caught up in perfectionism or this comparison of what it should look like in other people's eyes. I'm just doing what's put before me. So I double dog dare you to do the same. Perfectionism, creative problem solving. The creative problem solving came in when we decided to do that group text message. That is a fantastic way for us to communicate with one another when now we are getting pulled in other directions. Then it is building a community was day 12. Let me make sure. Day 12 is building a community. So yeah, I mean, I really do see our family dynamic as a community. We are very close with one another. And again, we're not perfect and we all have our moments. But I do believe we are this close family unit who are there for each other. And then yesterday was surviving conflict. Well, you know what? We have our moments. We do. We have our moments where we snap with one another, but we're going to survive conflict. And we're going to look at things whenever Alyssa starts boohoo crying about something, and I'm like, oh, man, just suck it up. But then I have to step back and go, okay, but why does she feel that way? Well, let's talk about what's the backstory with that, because there's probably a little bit more to it. And where does my role play? Because I'm sure I'm not completely innocent in whatever issue went down. So let's survive conflict. And then again, that leads us to today, fight for your family. The days that we are going to talk about after this, apply those to your family. Flip through, look at the topics of the chapter, and see how you can apply those to your family. I'm going to leave you with one story, give you one more story of how air some of my dirty laundry, but especially if you work from home. And I don't know, we have the unique dynamic in our family where my husband and I both work together from home. About 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years into our business journey, when it started really taking off, my husband was working at our church and he loved it. It was really his dream job. He loved everything about it, and he was using his gifts and his talents, and loved it. But we were starting to travel a lot. We were starting to get pulled in a lot of different directions, and so I was like, babe, listen, I mean, can we really work this as a team? This is way more than I can handle, and I just really would love for this to be a me and you thing, like me and you in it to the end. And he quit work at Highlands and started working in it, and not for me, but we started working together. And through that dynamic, I was very, very sensitive to how that was going to look, because this started off as looking like Monique's business. So I was very sensitive, even in the wording and the way that we talk. This is not my paycheck. This is our paycheck. This is not my business. This is our business. The very first convention that I went to, they wanted a headshot for the whatever they did there, and I sent in a family picture. I just said, I hope it's okay, but I'm not going to send a picture just of me. I really do want this is a family. We really are in it together. And I sent a family picture. I made sure that when my husband came on board, that this was now in both of our names. Any awards, any recognitions, anything, we receive it as a couple. This is us, because this isn't a my thing or his thing. This is an our thing. And so in our unique family dynamic of this, we're all together 24/7 the majority of the time. And so, like I told you earlier, business is pretty much what we talk about 24/7. And so about a year and a half, 2 years ago, probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, Jer and I I'm trying to think, it doesn't matter when the exact time was, but we were driving down to go to IKEA. We were living up in Utah, and we were driving down to IKEA to finish up our work office. And we both had in our minds what we wanted that work office to look like. And we got into IKEA, and I don't know. I love IKEA, but man, it does something to couples at times, at least me and Jeremiah, it does. And I'll never forget where we were standing in this little mock-up room over in a corner, and we start having World War III over a filing cabinet. Like, I'm talking, why in the world would we pay this much money for this filing cabinet? Well, why in the world would you want that filing cabinet? I mean, look at it. It's hideous. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't match. I mean, look at the mock-up room. This is what it's supposed to look like. Is that filing cabinet over in this mock-up room? I don't think so. So therefore, if that was the filing cabinet we were supposed to get, then they would have had it over in this room. But it doesn't match. So we're not getting it, because in life, you cannot be successful in business if the filing cabinet does not match your desk. Didn't you read that in that book we just read? No, I'm just kidding. That's not in there. But we have World War III over a filing cabinet. We are like, Lord help us. I know there had to have been somebody in there that knew us. All I know is I walk in one direction and he walks in the other. And my phone didn't have service in there, which is a problem when now both of you are stubborn and neither one of you know how to find each other. So about an hour later, I finally walk out to the car where he's sitting. And I get in the car and we don't say a word. He just starts driving off. And then I go, well, are we not going to get the office furniture? We've just been here the whole time. Now we're just not going to agree. We are at each other's throats. And then we get at this certain part on the interstate, and I'm thinking, what are we doing? This is a filing cabinet. You have got to be kidding me. A filing cabinet. And I said, what is our issue? The filing cabinet is not the issue. The filing cabinet is not the issue. The filing cabinet is not evil. We have got some issues we need to work through. And I just got to thinking, we have been working together 24/7 for almost 2 years now. And all we talk about is work. Even now when we travel and we do things, it's usually business related. We might have a day or two where we're doing something on our own, but 9 times out of 10, we are doing something work related even when we travel. And when's the last time I've just been on a trip, just me and my husband? So I don't even tell him. I don't even say anything to him. In my mind, I thought about, we just had canceled a trip and we had some free airline tickets. Eric, our financial consultant, would say, Monique, those were not actually free because you had paid for them previously. That just means you had a credit. But I looked at it as we have free airline tickets, right? And so Eric and I were completely opposite of how we look at money. And so I look at it as we have free airline tickets. I just call right up. I know that we are DVC members, so we've got this place in Alani at Disney that we can stay, even though we've paid for it. In my mind, it's free because all I have to do is call and book it, and I don't have to put any money out of pocket. I'm like, free room, free airline tickets. Me and Jeremiah, we're going to Hawaii. And so I pick up the phone, I call Delta, and I just said, could you tell me what a flight is leaving day after tomorrow to go to Hawaii? And I book us a flight right then and there and go home. My kids don't know. Thankfully we had some friends staying at our house, and we walk in and we go, hey guys, so y'all were going to be at our house this whole week. So since you're going to be here, we're going to Hawaii, and girls, you're staying here. And so we left, went to Hawaii. Now, I can't tell you that we didn't work, but working with your laptop right there, looking out, sitting in a lounge chair, looking out at the beautiful ocean is not really considered work too much. But I don't mean that you have to go and drop tons of money on a fancy vacation to be intentional. But the point of all of that is I want you to stop, and I want you to look at your family dynamic. I want you to look, do you work at home? Do you work with your spouse? You need to find some time and just carve away intentional time with your spouse, with your children. And it may not look like going to Hawaii. It could be maybe just going a city over or a state over, or it could be closing your laptop and watching a Netflix series, or it could be anything random like that. But since that point, Jerry and I have been very, very intentional with creating specific time for just me and him to go somewhere, for me and him to have undivided attention and really not focus on business. And the same is true then with your family. When we watch TV, we try to carve out time that it's intentional TV time with our family. Maybe we're watching something, a documentary, and then we discuss. So anyway, I want to end with 2 verses, and then we're going to pray. 3 verses actually, and then we're going to pray. It's on page 97 if you've got the book. No, it's not on page 97. I lie. It is on page... it's on page 105, and it is 2 because I knew it was 2. The things that I want you to focus on in your homework today is I want you to ask yourself these questions. Write about how you compare yourself. Are there other families, are there other people that you compare your family life to? I want you to write that out. And the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to think of ways that you can be intentional and you can carve out specific family time. I want you to think about how you can apply these concepts to your family as well. Before we move on to these verses, what happens if you're single? Well, you know what? You've got a mom or dad. You've maybe got siblings. You've maybe got cousins. I would dare to say that you've got some friends who are as close as family. And so don't feel like family only pertains to a husband or children. Those are the examples I'm using right now. Because I'm married and I've got kids. You can relate that to your family dynamic. What does your family dynamic look like? It needs to be strong. It needs to be strong. Okay, let's go over the 2 verses and we'll end. Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And Joshua 24:15. And it's midway through the verse. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. This is the end of week 2, guys. So one of the things before we pray that I want you to do, and I say it here in the book, is I really want you to think about this past week. I want you to think about the things that we talked about, the things that we studied. And I want you to just really go to the Lord and thank Him for the things that He's walking you through. But also, if there's things and days that you're still hung up on a little bit, ask Him just to give you wisdom and discernment and just divine revelations for those areas. All right, let's pray, you guys. Lord, we love you, and we're on this journey of 21 days of prayer for our business, coming to you and really giving you control, allowing you to have your way in every part of our life, including our business. But Lord, we also want to bring that dynamic into our families. Lord, we want to fight with that same tenacity as we are for our businesses. We want to fight for that with our families. Lord, you've given us this family, these individuals for such a time as this. And Lord, we want to honor you with that family that you've given to us. Lord, we want to walk out our relationships with this family in worship to you. Lord, open our eyes to how we can be intentional, how we can develop stronger relationships with one another, how we can encourage others as a family. Lord, if there's hurts, I know relational things, especially in the family dynamic, can be so hard to walk through. So Lord, I pray that you just comfort people who feel as if they've been hurt by family in the past, or there's issues there, whatever is in their past. Lord, I pray that you would just give them peace. You would help them walk out these future steps that they have and not be bound by that past, whatever the issue may be. Lord, I love you. And again, I thank you for everyone who is devoting this time to you. I pray that you bless them, that you give them wisdom, that you give them discernment, wisdom way beyond their years, that you would give divine revelation in everything they do. In your name, amen. All right, guys. Well, tomorrow is, the walk it out points. Walk it out. Walk out point number 1, be intentional and create family time. Consider this time a non-negotiable. Put it on the calendar and never let anything stand in the way. Commit to putting your phones away at dinner. Or when you are spending devoted time with your family. Start a group text like I was talking about, or a message with your family and keep the conversation going. And finally, memorize and meditate on those verses. All right, tomorrow we are talking about integrity. Integrity matters. It's going to be a good one. All right. I love you guys. You have a fantastic day, and we will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.